Welcome to Mid-Missouri Art News. Today we visit with artist Faye Zumwalt, who will share with us what has happened in her art world since being a previous guest here on the show back in 2016, if you recall. I ask you to turn with me and welcome our first guest, Miss Faye Zumwalt.
Hello, and welcome to my studio. Thank you, Rick, for having me back on Mid-Missouri Art News once again. I'm here to tell you some of the things I've been doing since we last talked. I really enjoy painting with several media, and I think that what I do in one medium helps me do better in all of the other media as well. Oil painting was my first serious pursuit of art as an adult. Since we last were recorded, I have done mostly portraits and pet portraits, including this one of my cat, Jackson. My current favorite is silk painting. I paint silk scarves such as the one that I am wearing here and such as these others that are behind me. The first over here is simple stripes that I painted with a large brush, and I sprinkled salt to make the paint disperse in certain areas. The second was done by a resist method. Resist so that I could corral the paint where I wanted them. I call this one tiger lilies, even though I really know that tiger lilies have spots and not stripes. The next is a new method that I've had so much fun with. This is marbling, and it's done by floating my paint on top of a chemical addition to water, and then I lay the silk down on top of that floating paint. I also use that technique for this scarf, so you can see how I can get several patterns from the same technique. The last one I have here, the hearts, was done with stamps. I used some purchased stamps, but I also carved some of my own to make kind of this graffiti look. I have taught and demonstrated silk painting at Capitol Arts several times in Jefferson City. I serve on their board of directors, and my silk scarves are always on display in their gallery. I have prints and cards made from my paintings all the time, and I also have my original artwork that rotates in and out based on what the themed exhibit is at any one time. I've also been enjoying pastels. My recent pastel zinnias and pears on a plate. I seem to loosen up when painting with pastels because the paper can only contain so much pigment before it's saturated. I've been having fun with the medium, and I enjoy the ease of cleanup compared to oils. My latest project, that's not even framed yet, is peaches on a plate. It will be a companion to my pears on a plate. Since my last interview, I've painted several watercolor paintings, including some florals. What I find is that watercolor painting and silk painting have a lot in common. I've also painted a few acrylic paintings, such as my dad's lake. When I saw the light play over the dock and the lake that day, and I photographed it, I just really enjoyed how the patterns looked. So I really felt compelled to capture that in a painting. Another recent acrylic is my Over Riviera Maya. It is taken from a photograph I shot while I was on a vacation several years ago with my husband Bill, and it reminds me of a nice time. The sun had almost set when I shot this shot, and it reminds me of that fun time. I also played around with poured acrylic method, including this painting, which is an abstracted view of a landscape. I've played just a little bit with clay, including this little fairy house for a fairy garden, which was just playful. I also have fun participating in a card making club and a scrapbooking club. Now this is really a craft rather than an art, because paper crafting uses products designed by other artists, and so therefore it's not my original work. I use these products to make my own original cards and scrapbook pages from them. I have fun with the card club, and in these, the leaders will design a pattern for the evening, and then the others will follow what they have done and then put their own spin on it if they'd like. I try to continuously learn more in all of the media that I work in different art and craft forms. I try to pick up just a little bit from every teacher that I'm privileged to work with and try to pick up on some of their best work. I also like to mention that I'm a volunteer, several ways to support art in the area. I'm currently serving on a committee to create a mural depicting the history of Tibbetts, Missouri, where I grew up. I've drawn several designs for this mural, as have other people, and we use these with the public to try to determine what people think is the most important piece of Tibbetts' rich history to depict on this mural. I am the Jefferson City Art Club featured artist on their website from November 2nd through December 14th, and invite you to log on to see my paintings at www.jeffersoncityartclub-missouri.com. Well, that's about all for today. Thank you, Rick, for having me here in my studio. And I'd like to invite everybody to stay tuned because there's a lot more to come here on Mid-Missouri Art News.